The world is entering one of the most complex geopolitical periods in decades. Major powers are repositioning militarily, trade routes are becoming more fragile, and regional conflicts are increasingly connected. From tensions in the Middle East, to the war in Ukraine, to growing friction in the Pacific, many analysts believe the global order is shifting. But what exactly is happening, and why now? Global geopolitics today is defined by three major power centers: the United States, China, and Russia. The world is moving away from a single dominant superpower structure toward a multipolar system. The U.S. maintains global security commitments through alliances and a worldwide military presence. It plays a central role in international finance, technology, and security. China is expanding its military and economic influence. Through projects like the Belt and Road, it creates new trade routes and dependencies. Beijing is modernizing its military and promoting its own vision for global governance. Russia is challenging Western alliances and asserting influence in its near abroad. It uses energy resources as a foreign policy tool and retains willingness to use force. As power diffuses, nations form new partnerships and reevaluate old ones. Alliances grow more fluid and rules face greater contestation. International relations become more complex and less predictable. This transition from one global order to another lies at the heart of today's rising tensions. Understanding the underlying forces, economic interests, security concerns, and historical grievances clarifies the moment we're in. The Middle East remains one of the most sensitive regions, with deep grievances, complex rivalries, and strategic importance. Iran exerts influence through ties with governments and non-state groups across Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, and Yemen. Its nuclear program and regional actions concern neighbors and Western powers. The Strait of Hormuz is a critical choke point through which a large share of seaborne oil passes daily. Disruption, via incident, political decision, or sabotage, could spike energy prices globally. Many nations, including the U.S., monitor closely because regional stability is tied to global energy security. Threats to production or shipping can ripple outward, affecting economies far from the crisis. To mitigate risk, the U.S. maintains forces to surveil, deter aggression, and ensure freedom of navigation. But crowded operating spaces raise the danger that a small incident escalates quickly. Local clashes can draw in larger powers, transforming regional disputes into wider crises. Overlapping interests mean the Middle East will remain a central flashpoint in a period of rising tensions. In Europe, the war in Ukraine has fundamentally altered the security landscape. NATO strengthened its eastern flank, moving troops and heavy equipment to frontline members. European nations are increasing defense budgets, buying advanced systems, and boosting readiness. Reliance on Russian gas was exposed as a vulnerability, prompting a scramble for alternatives. Europe added LNG capacity, diversified suppliers, and accelerated renewables. Energy shifts are redrawing supply chains and creating new partnerships. Western countries largely sanctioned Russia, while parts of the global South stayed neutral, contributing to a more fragmented environment. New diplomatic groupings are emerging as states hedge and diversify ties. Disrupted grain and fertilizer supplies fueled food price inflation and underscored global interdependence. The war is a stark reminder of how quickly a regional conflict can affect security and economic well-being far beyond its borders. The Pacific has become another key arena of rising tension. Beijing views Taiwan as a province to be reunified. Taiwan governs itself as a democratic, self-ruling entity. The U.S. and allies watch closely, as any move to alter Taiwan's status could trigger a major international crisis. China's expansive claims overlap with several nations, raising disputes. Built and militarized outposts heighten regional concerns. Challenging navigation norms increases the risk of incidents and miscalculation. The Pacific is a core engine of global manufacturing and trade. Advanced semiconductor production, especially in Taiwan, underpins smartphones, vehicles, and defense systems worldwide. A disruption would send shockwaves through supply chains and industries globally. That is the situation as it stands. Global instability can impact fuel prices, food supply chains, cybersecurity risks, and overall economic volatility. Most conflicts don't affect daily life at first. The impact shows up gradually, through higher prices and disruptions. Understanding global events helps people prepare rather than react. Energy markets are sensitive to tension in key producing regions, lifting fuel costs and shipping prices. Higher transport costs can raise prices on everyday goods, from groceries to furniture. Conflicts can block ports and cut flows of grain and fertilizer, causing shortages and higher food prices. Instability can shake markets, affecting savings and investment portfolios. Firms may delay projects or hiring, softening the job market. Periods of tension often elevate cyber risk to banking, power, and communications. Calm steps, budgeting, a small emergency fund, and modest household reserves improve resilience. Diplomacy remains the most powerful tool to prevent conflict. Through open channels, consistent dialogue, and good faith negotiation. Treaties and international agreements provide peaceful frameworks for managing disputes. Leaders must pursue every diplomatic avenue to de-escalate tensions and find common ground. A credible defense deters aggression and protects vital interests. But overemphasis on military solutions can waste resources and fuel arms races. Balance is essential. The goal is deterrence and stability, not provocation. In a 24-hour news cycle, sensationalism and misinformation can spread quickly. Credible analytical journalism helps citizens grasp complexity without fear. An informed public is better able to support sensible policies and hold leaders accountable. Periods of tension are transitional and can lead to a more stable equilibrium if managed wisely. History shows that periods of global tension eventually reshape the world order. The question isn't whether change is coming. The question is how prepared people are to adapt when it does. Stay informed, stay aware, and think ahead. Tactically prepped.com